Welcome back to the channel. Listen, everything's coming out, everything's getting exposed. I'm very happy to see these types of things, being discussed by some of these central banks. This article is titled, Malaysia's Central Bank Paper Sparks Debate by Naming XRP and Bitcoin as Monetary Alternatives. Why is this a surprise? I mean, it shouldn't be a surprise to everyone. We've known they've been looking at these things as alternatives for a long time, hence the new financial system. The new financial system is being set up not because of just the natural progression of all things, which is change, right? The natural progression, which means that there's going to be entropy and something's going to break down. The system is breaking down. And so things naturally are going to endure a certain evolution. No, it's not just because of that. That's part of it. But it's because they fear a collapse and they need something else to go to. The new financial system is the only functioning advanced system that can replace the legacy system as of right now. So then one asks themselves, well, what is the best of the best when it comes to new financial system? The bank coins. Who's at the forefront of the bank coins right now? XRP. Then outside of the bank coins, who's at the forefront? Bitcoin. And so this is why you see them being discussed in this particular way. These companies aren't doing this for no reason. You see companies, big money individuals and companies, putting together XRP treasuries. There's a reason for that. And I would dare posit it's the same reason that central banks have been gobbling up gold. Folks, there is a problem. And it's very interesting because no matter how much individuals like myself discuss this problem with the fiat currency system, it just seems the bulk of the world still doesn't want to believe it. But it doesn't matter if they believe it or not. It's still, I think, factually correct. So everyone's trying to protect themselves, not only with gobbling up things or holding things like gold, but also ensuring that they have something else to fall back on should there be some sort of major collapse. And it doesn't mean everything has to go down. I'm not saying that. But still, a major collapse would be highly detrimental to the systems. So they're making sure, like, okay, this is a system, and how did they phrase it? Bear with me one moment. See, this is what they said here. They posit that these digital assets could eventually replace currency in circulation, CIC, or bank deposits if they become widely used. Folks, they're not the only ones who have said this. They're not going to be the only ones who've said it in the future either. Other central banks have discussed similar things in the past. Other financial entities have discussed things like this in the past. It's just now it's getting more serious because as they showed in the report that we covered a few months back, the institutions who assess banking, the banks in their situations, said things have only gotten worse. Well, they were pretty bad. 3 years ago, they were really bad. When that collapse happened with Silvergate Bank, SVB, and stuff like that, it was pretty bad. So if it only got worse, what does that tell everyone? So yes, they're going to want something like XRP. Look at the benefits that come with XRP. Folks, this is undeniable for the financial institutions. They need liquidity. They need something that can fill the gaps. They need bridge currencies. They need interoperability. They need the new system. They need something where you can incorporate all of the new advanced things that are coming out. AI, quantum computing is going to plug right into things like the XRPL easily. And the XRPL in the future is not going to be what it is today. It's just not. It probably will be a conglomeration, but a coming together of many different bank coins. Cardano and XRPL and H-bar and a few others will get in on it. I don't see how Stellar doesn't get in on it. You want to be honest, Chainlink will get in on it. They will come together and form a conglomeration, a Voltron, something of that nature. The same way that you see the banks that have been doing for countless years. They're going to follow that archetype. That means big money. This is why you have people, they're discussing prices of XRP. And now this part, not financial advice. I'm just conveying my thoughts. That's all. But you hear people discussing certain prices that may seem extremely high to some. But if you're seeing certain information like this coming out and a lot of other things, it's just one little piece. This is one little piece, but it's very significant. And I should tell you everything a lot that I'm saying that this is a little piece, although it's significant, because other things that are more significant are happening consistently every single week, exposing the truth about what is to come. So yeah, so even though some people are discussing prices that may seem high to others, it definitely is not. Those prices are definitely not out of reason for those who are seeing what's happening right now. Just ponder on that for a moment, folks. Ponder on that for a moment. Then it continues on here. Well, let me read this little quote to you. It says, a recent working paper from the Central Bank of Malaysia has identified XRP alongside Bitcoin as potential, quote, alternatives to the current monetary and payment instruments, unquote. The paper, which examines the fundamentals of what the CBM calls modern money and its application to a central bank digital currency, posits that these digital assets could eventually replace currency in circulation or bank deposits if they become widely used. Then here, listen to this. It says, quote, private tokens such as Bitcoin and XRP may be widely used as a means of payment outside the banking system in the future. Folks, we've been telling people this for a long time. This is not coming out of nowhere. They understand where things are going. The fiat currencies are doomed. And hence, if the fiat, they're saying this about Bitcoin and XRP, but not saying this about stable coins. Why? If fiat currencies are doomed, if I am correct, and I could be wrong, you can tell me that, sure. I'm going to vehemently and respectfully disagree with you, but you could say that. If fiat currencies are doomed, then those things that are attached and backed by fiat currencies are also, by the very same nature, doomed. Stable coins. So now, let's put those to the side for a moment, okay? We can come back to that. That is, I get so fired up when I think about those because I believe I see what they are. They're just a smokescreen. That's why here they're talking about Bitcoin and XRP. This is the real deal here. They know it. They're saying if these let me read it again. My apologies if I stumble. I have so many thoughts. I got one thought just crawling over another. Quote, private tokens such as Bitcoin and XRP may be widely used as means of payment outside the banking system in the future. Why are they saying that? What prompted them to say that? You think they did this without research? It's a central bank. They come together with other central banks to have these discussions in think tanks and etc. This is based on research and their calculations and probabilities that they're generating. But if that happens, what happens to that price of XRP? If that happens, what happens to that price of Bitcoin? Then it continues on. It says replacing CIC or bank deposits also brings up a lot of interesting thoughts. Now, there's something else here. They're always going to do this. They come out, they discuss things in a realm of truth that is rarely seen. And later on, they're going to slap down their own comments. That's to throw you off. Just because someone has walked through the forest, they walked through the forest. You saw them head towards the forest. Then you go towards the forest. You look down. You don't see footprints. Doesn't mean they weren't there. If there's snow on the ground, maybe they drug a branch behind them or something to muddle their footsteps. This is what that is. They're not allowing you to see their footsteps, but they went into the forest. They're covering their tracks. That's why they slap everything down after they say it. They don't want you knowing. They don't want the people knowing. They don't want the people too bullish. It says, nevertheless, the paper ultimately downplays the two cryptocurrency prospects, citing their lack of a stable nominal anchor. Nonsense. The stable nominal anchor is literally the banks. It's the greatest stable nominal anchor that you could ever have. Once again, look at gold. The XRP made for the banks. Representative from Ripple came out one time, said that. The videos are still up. We have the article still. It was cropped and put in those videos, never taken down. So people can't deny that. They said that XRP was designed for the banks, for the financial institutions. If that is the case, then would all the financial institutions gobble up all the did I say Bitcoin or XRP? My apologies. I meant XRP if I didn't say that. All right. Okay. XRP is made for the banks, financial institutions. If they buy up most of the XRP, they will stabilize that price. It will be used within their systems. It will flow between their hands majorly. The price will go up exponentially, and it will not come back down. And only they get to decide how much volatility is going to be involved. You see them already taking over Bitcoin as an example. Bitcoin isn't $50,000, $40,000, $30,000, $25,000 anymore. It's at a much higher place. And who's been buying up all the Bitcoin as an example? These large institutions. So in the end, if it continues on this course, they decide where the price of Bitcoin goes. They can stabilize anything that they want. This is a lie. It's a manipulation of information for those they know that don't have enough time to do research or sit down and think this far through everything. And they know that they can get over on them. But this doesn't work on me. And those that I speak to on the channel. Their lack of a stable nominal anchor. Is that so? I'll say this. Even if you take something else as an example, you look at the volatility of platinum, right? Goes up and down, over the last few years. Up and down, up and down, up and down. But if all those institutions bought platinum like they buy gold, platinum's price will become stabilized. It will become stabilized. Anything that they all go heavily into, they have the choice. These large companies and central banks, they know what they're doing. They are the stabilizer. But and they'll point to the backing of something, or oh well, stablecoins they're backed by this and that, which are not. It's not stable anyway. So the only things that are stable are those things that are substantive, which XRP and Bitcoin and Chainlink and Solana, the bank coins, are substantive. Their very purpose is what their substance is. Nothing's greater than that. Nothing's more substantive than supporting the financial system upon which all of these companies are built. They have their power, and most people around the world hinge a significant portion of their existence on. Don't let them pull the wool over your eyes. I mean, you could do whatever you want, but they're not pulling over my own. It says, and, quote, tendency towards fragmentation, unquote. In what way? Is there not a unified front within XRPL? RippleNet? Huh? RippleNet working with SBI, with Volante, all these different companies working together as one. How does that apply to XRP? Tendency towards fragmentation. What do you mean by that? What is the difference between RippleNet, or whatever they're calling it this day, and Swift, where they have hundreds to, if not thousands, of banks all working together in the same system with the same XRP, same XRPL? Even if they build something on top of it, it's the same underlying technology. These people are lying. Manipulation is a tactic. They learn it. Listen, they've read the same books, maybe even more than that I've read. Machiavelli. My father made me read Machiavelli when I was like 8 years old. My brother also. Art of War. We grew up with the Art of War. You think that these companies don't know that same information? Folks, they use a lot of different tactics, and even more than that, I'm just referencing. Manipulation is a tactic. I mean, but believe what you want to believe, but these are lies. In my humble opinion, that's why I call it. That's how I look at that. All right, so now that we went through that, so then we have more XRP news. Look at this. XRP strategy from nature's miracle spans gaming, dining, travel, EVs. XRP is set to anchor an ambitious multi-industry push by nature's miracle, driving adoption across payments, gaming, travel, food, and EV sales for mainstream daily use. Nature's Miracle Holding announced on August the 8th, 2025 at the OTCQB Venture Virtual Investor Conference, a comprehensive XRP-focused strategy aimed at embedding the cryptocurrency into both corporate finance and consumer-oriented activities. The OTCQB is an over-the-counter equity market in the United States for early stage and growth companies that are current in their reporting with the U.S. Securities Exchange Commission. The company said this, quote, NMHI seeks to be a leader in deploying XRP in day-to-day activities, including gaming, drinks, travel, food, EV sales. Listen, look into all of this, do your own research, of course. But this is interesting, nevertheless, right? The initiative will span corporate treasury, payments, loyalty rewards, deposits, promotions, marketing, tokenized sales, orders. They're going to squeeze every little bit out of XRP that they can. This could get interesting very quickly. The plan incorporates a $20 million XRP corporate treasury program, of course. Launched on July 23rd, 2025. They went $20 million into XRP. You think they're doing that just to make a few pennies? Absolutely not. They know something. They know what we know and probably a little bit more. That price is going intergalactic. Just my humble opinion. Doesn't have to be yours, not financial advice. All right, I'm trying to squeeze as much as I can into this video, so that's why if I'm speaking a little bit faster, hopefully it's not too fast. Although people could slow down the video, right? If they want, you could slow it down. They could not fast forward, but like, what do you call that? You could speed up the video as well. So they have control over the speed of the video. It says, it explores tokenized sales connected to NMHIs, all these acronyms. Previously announced non-binding pre-order of 1,000 FX Super 1 MPVs with Faraday Future Intelligent Electric and an arrangement potentially worth up to $100 million. The company is also developing, quote, digital mining projects through gaming, travel, and social media. While formulating, this is very ambitious, I'll say. Let's see if they can pull it off. Show me. It sounds good. Sounds good. The tough part is going to be implementing all of this. Gaming, how do you do that? How do you bring in those gamers? That's a tough industry right now. Very tough. Travel, a little easier. Social media, that's a tough area right there. The social media of today is not the social media of yesterday. How do you do that? And the people are much smarter today, albeit I know a lot of people will go against that. Oh, people are smart. Make you sure about that? Because I've heard that. No, I 100%, I get what you're saying, but no, the people are much smarter. They see certain things happening, they start questioning it. Oh, wait, crypto? What do you mean crypto? Because don't get me wrong, many of us have great experience with crypto, but not everybody was as perspicacious as we are. So a lot of people do have bad experiences with crypto, mostly meme coins as such, but then they blame it on all of crypto. So social media, yeah, you're going to go on there and you might try to promote this stuff. How successful is that going to be? A lot of people are going to question that. They may even stay away because of their bad experience. I'm just putting that out there. So what I'm saying is you have to show me. It's easy to say this, but execution is going to be where you prove that this is actually workable. It says, while formulating marketing collaborations in industries such as sports drinks, where XRP could serve as a promotional tool. I suppose we're going to find out. If it's good for XRP, I'm all for it. Here's a quote from James Lee, CEO of Nature's Miracle. Says, quote, we see not only the long-term investment value of XRP, but also the tremendous potential to utilize XRP in the real world application. Well, yeah, sure. You also see XRP possibly exploding past probably $10 to $15. I'm pretty sure of it. That's a huge part of it, which you'll take that and then you'll reallocate that into all of these things you want to do. Which, sure, you could use XRP to get involved in those things, but let's just be real. I think you want to just be involved in those things and get a foothold in it. XRP is popular. So maybe you're banking on that popularity to get a foothold as a company into all of these different industries, and then that ensures your future. Whether you use XRP or not, it's like if this is successful, you're here no matter what. You're in there. You're in the door no matter what now. But XRP is the door opener. Right? I'm just saying. All right, so now let's move on here. Let's get a little bit of Bitcoin news in. I'm not sure how long this video is now. So now, this article is titled, Bitcoin price soars above $120,000 as Nakamoto prepares $760 million BTC buy post-merger. And it begins here. It says, the price of Bitcoin went above $122,286 today as a massive new buyer nears entering the market. All eyes are on Nakamoto Holdings Incorporated, the Bitcoin native holding company, set to complete its long-anticipated merger with healthcare provider Kindly MD. Once the merger is complete, Nakamoto will be cleared to begin purchasing Bitcoin with over $760 million in capital. The companies confirmed on July 22nd that they have filed a definitive information statement with the U.S. Securities Exchange Commission, marking the final step before closing. Quote, filing the definitive information statement is a critical milestone for this merger and accelerates our mission of acquiring 1 million Bitcoin, unquote, said David Bailey, founder and CEO of Nakamoto. Everything's leaning in Bitcoin's favor. Things are looking very, very good for BTC right now, in my humble opinion. That's how I'm. And once again, I don't feel like we've seen the big explosion yet. It is yet to come. It continues on here. It says, quote, we are proud to reach this important milestone alongside Nakamoto, unquote, added Tim Pickett, founder and CEO of Kindly MD. There's another quote. Our shareholders now have the opportunity to be a part of a groundbreaking shift in how public companies approach treasury management, with Bitcoin at the center. Once finalized, the merger will allow Nakamoto to aggressively pursue its Bitcoin acquisition strategy. So they're saying, hey, wait a minute. We didn't even go hard in the paint yet. Right? That's what they're saying. Wait until you see this Shaq move. You know, Shaq would back somebody down, turn around and just dunk on them. Just strong and, go strong to the basket. That's what they're saying. We haven't even begun yet. All right. So if a lot of companies are thinking this way, where does that bring Bitcoin's price into the future? That's where it gets interesting, does it not? Right. The company made its first move earlier this year when Kindly MD purchased 21 Bitcoin for $2.3 million, quote, a symbolic number to start the Naka mission. Nakamoto posted on X. Pickett expanded on the purchase. I just ran one thing into another. My apologies, folks. My apologies. Pickett expanded on this purchase during the company's Q2 earnings report, stating, quote, during the quarter, we received approximately $9.2 million in proceeds from warrants exercises, which allows us to make an initial purchase of 21 BTC valued at $2.25 million as of June 30th, 2025. Listen, I hope that things continue to go at this pace. I won't say go well. I think that things are going to go well for Bitcoin for over the next year and a half, I think. Then we may start to need, given catalyst, observing the catalyst will let us know when to start asking some questions about Bitcoin. But I think you're going to see a few explosions. Not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Just my humble opinion from the research that I'm doing, things that I'm seeing. Okay. But everything's looking good in my humble opinion. There was something else I wanted to say. I just can't remember. It's on the tip of my mind, but I just can't remember. So now that you have that information, what are you going to do with it? I know what I'm going to do with it. So until next time, everybody, let's get to the Monday.